Well, the Karnataka State Secretariat, Soudha in Bangalore has passed a sexist order to its employees. The order says female employees are often found loitering about in corridors of the Secretariat. This obstructs work and they should avoid doing the same or else action will be initiated against them. The order also talks about other employees loitering about during working hours and using mobiles at workplace and talking loudly. However, it doesn't single out women on this point. All right, so that's the sexist order that has been passed in the Soudha, with the order saying that female employees are often found loitering about in the corridors of the Secretariat, and these women obstruct work. They should avoid doing the same, and if they are found loitering about in the corridors of the Secretariat, action will be initiated against them. Now, why this order is raising heckles is because of the fact that the women have been singled out in this order, with the order specifically meant and targeted at women who are during work hours found loitering about in the Secretariat corridors. However, there is no mention of their male counterparts doing the same, talking on the mobile phones during working hours and talking loudly as well. It just mentions that women employees step out during working hours, they talk on the mobile phones loudly, they obstruct work, and they move about in the corridors obstructing work. This order is specifically meant for the women employees. It also says that if the women employees do not adhere to this order of staying away from loitering about in the corridors during working hours, then action will be initiated against them. Rohini Swami is now joining us with more details on that bizarre order that has come out. Rohini, any word from the Secretariat authorities on why this order has been specifically brought about for the women employees? What about their male counterparts? Aren't they also found guilty of the same issue of loitering about in corridors during working hours?
Well, we managed to speak to the Secretariat officials off the record. What they have been saying is it's a blanket circular that has been issued for men and women, but specifically since they have found a large number of women walking around the corridors and talking loudly on the phone, they've also decided to highlight that, saying it's just not men but also women who do that, and even if they do, then they should refrain from doing so. But yes, because they have specifically named women in that, a lot of employees have taken offense to it and they have raised objections to this particular circular. But if you read the circular carefully and through and through, they have said that they have found a lot of employees, men and women, walking on the corridors and disrupting the working of the Secretariat, talking loudly on the phone. But since a large number of women are doing so, they decided to even highlight that particular incident.
All right, Pramila Nisargi is also joining us on the phone lines. She's a senior lawyer. Ms. Nisargi, how do you view this order specifically targeting the women?
You see, that speaks of their mental makeup. That is the mindset of the men in the society. They just do not tolerate. They do not want the ladies to work inside. They gossip. If they want to talk outside, they say you cannot talk. This is how the mind of the government works in Karnataka. It is discriminatory on the face of it. If they say women should not talk, they must also say that men should also not talk. Allowing the men to gossip, allowing the men to talk loudly in the corridor, and asking only women to shut their mouth, it speaks volumes. It's high time they withdraw the notification, and if it is not withdrawn, I am confident that it will not stand the scrutiny in the court of law. Yes, I appeal to all our women, don't obey the circular because it is not done in accordance with the Constitution. It is discriminatory.
Pramila Nisargi, I believe that there are some women who have already raised an objection to this. Do you think that their grounds are adequate and correct, considering the fact that the authorities at the Secretariat do continue to say that complaints have come against a lot of women specifically, and that is why this supposed sexist order that has been passed?
Do they mean that the men are not talking loudly? I always feel, whether it is in the High Court premises or in the corridor or a Vidhan of the corridor, it is the men who talk loudly, it is not women. I can't really understand why they are insisting that women should not talk in the corridor loudly. Why is that only? If I do not want to see, on the other hand, doctors say, if you talk softly in a mobile, it will affect your throat. That is how it is said. You can't talk in mildly. In fact, you have to use your voice.
All right.
Otherwise, you will not be exercising their voice in a proper perspective, and it will affect their health.
All right, Pramila Nesargi, many thanks for speaking with us. Let me go back to Rohini Swami. Rohini, you said that some women have raised an objection to this, considering that women have taken this matter up seriously. Are the officials planning to rework the circular and issue a fresh one? All right, we seem to have lost our link there with Rohini Swami. In fact, this story is coming in from Vidhan Sabha in Bangalore, where a circular has been issued which specifically targets the women and says that it is the women who have been found talking about loudly on their telephones in the corridors of the Secretariat, hampering work, and they should avoid doing the same. And if in case they are found loitering about in the corridors and obstructing work, then action will be initiated against them. Now, why this order has become controversial is because of the fact that it specifically mentions the women employees here. There is not so much talk about the men employees who would be doing the same. However, it specifically targets the women, says that it is the women employees who have been found loitering about in the corridors and obstructing work. Jagmati Sangman, women's rights activist, is joining us on the phone line. What would you say as your first reaction to this obviously sexist circular that has been issued in the Vidhan Soudha?
You see, this is a highly objectionable circular which has been issued, and it's against the spirit of Constitution and human rights. How can they discriminate women on those very places which are public and where they are supposed to perform all type of assignments? And it should be withdrawn immediately. Otherwise, it is a violation of women's equal rights, and ADWA over there will definitely take up the issue.
All right, so how can this issue be taken up with the officials at the Vidhan Soudha? Because we do understand that some women employees have objected to it. But what's the way out to make the Secretariat officials more sensitive towards issues like these?
Yes, first of all, the delegation of women organizations would approach to the Speaker of the Assembly or Chief Minister or Minister over there. How can their subordinates dare to issue such type of directions, whether it is this decision was taken at his own level or the government is in agreement with the spirit of this particular circular. And if the government takes some appropriate actions against the people concerned, whosoever has issued this circular, then it's good. Or if the state government also supports this position, then it's really something very
Ms. Jagmati,
serious.
does this circular insinuate that women are not serious workers and that is why this is objectionable?
Yes, this is a reflection on that aspect also, that in the office hours they are not working, they are roaming around talking loud on the phone. Whereas the facts and figures, the performance of women, wherever they are assigned a duty, they are performing better these days, whether these are the exams, whether these are the jobs, or whether these are the sports and other fields. Yes.
All right, Ms. Jagmati, many thanks for speaking with India Today. On that note, we're taking a quick break. We'll be back with more details on that story and the other updates from across the country and the world. Stay with us.